Hello subscribers, Patrick S. Tomlinson here again today for the 8th installment of my 2-minute rant series, which I suspect is going to go a little over time today because we are going to be talking about the United States Attorney General, or the more interesting fact that we don't actually have one right now. As we all know, about 2 weeks ago, President Trump fired Attorney General and racist Keebler elf Jeff Sessions from his post, and then decided to elevate someone named Matthew Whitaker, who had been Sessions' chief of staff, to be the role of acting Attorney General. Now, Whitaker's credentials are extensive, and they include things such as being a member of a company that is currently under FBI investigation, selling used hot tubs, and previously endorsing time travel products. I wish I was making that up, but from now on I'm going to call him Hot Tub Time Machine. I hope you don't mind. Anyway, here's the problem. Hot Tub Time Machine is not actually the acting Attorney General. You see, under the Constitution, the position of Attorney General has to be confirmed by the Senate, which he has not been in any capacity. Also, under the Department of Justice succession statutes, actually says that when an Attorney General is replaced, in the interim, that the post then goes to his deputy, which in this case would be Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, who is in fact the legal acting Attorney General at this moment. Still, the pretense that Hot Tub Time Machine is the current acting Attorney General is still being entertained by an awful lot of people, which has made quite a few people very nervous about Mueller's investigation into Trump's campaign and administration and their ties to Russia. However, there's really no need to worry here because Mueller is quite smart, and so is Rod Rosenstein, and they both know that Hot Tub Time Machine is not actually the acting Attorney General, and so if he actually steps in to try and block any actions that they may want to take, he will be opening himself to obstruction of justice charges immediately. More than that, before this ever happened, there was an interesting thing that court watchers in the District of Columbia noticed, and that was the fact that since August, 36 new sealed indictments appeared on the docket out there. Now, these indictments have been sealed, so we don't actually know which cases are involved in or who the names of the people under indictment are. However, we have a pretty strong indication that they probably came from the Mueller investigation. This was put in place, obviously, because sealed indictments, once they have been issued, can't be unissued later. So these have already been approved, and there's nothing that Hot Tub Time Machine can do to roll them back. And now Mueller can bring those indictments out pretty much whenever he wants to. However, this still leaves open the question of who will be the next actual Attorney General that has gone through the approval process and been confirmed by the Senate and all that. Two names have been getting floated around an awful lot in the last couple of weeks, and the ones that are floated up to the surface the most are former Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey. He makes an awful lot of sense for the position because not only does he have experience as a lawyer, but he also loves to close things, such as beaches, bridges, and so forth. So I'm sure he would absolutely love to close the Mueller investigation as well. There is a problem there, though, because like Jeff Sessions, Christie was part of the Trump transition team. And like Jeff Sessions, because of that fact, he would probably have to recuse himself were he to take the Attorney General job from the Russia investigation and any oversight responsibilities therein, as I said, just as Jeff Sessions did. So I don't think that in the end he's going to be the one that gets picked. Also, it seems to me that the fact he had Jared Kushner's father arrested and put in prison probably means that there's a little bit of hard feelings between him and the rest of the Trump clan. The other name that has been brought up an awful lot is the current Florida Attorney General, Pam Bondi. Now, you may remember her from a few years ago now, in the run-up to the actual Trump campaign, because she took a $25,000 donation, well, let's just call it a bribe because that's what it was, from the Trump Foundation just as she decided that her office was going to drop their investigation into Trump University. Trump University, of course, was later found through a court in New York to have been completely fraudulent, and that forced Trump to settle for $25 million with his victims. So if you ever wonder why politicians like to bribe people, it's because they can pay a $1,000 bribe and save themselves $1 million later on fines. It's actually a very good investment. And on top of that, Bondi was not a transition team member at any point, so she would have no reason to have to recuse herself. And, as we all know, she's already compromised and can be bought. Trump knows all this, and so I suspect strongly that all of those issues and the fact that she happens to be a pretty blonde lady will factor very strongly into his decision-making process on who to appoint to AG next. Anyway, we're quite a bit over time there, coming up on 5 minutes. So if you like what I'm doing here, please hit the subscribe button down at the bottom right there, the big red button. If you really like what I do here, please look at my new book here. It's called Gate Crashers. It came out from Tor Books in June. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It's First Contact, runs into the apocalypse. It's really a lot of fun. Hilarity ensues. Anyway, follow me also on my blog at patrickstomlinson.com. I'll leave you to the rest of your day and hope you have a great time. Bye now.